Hi, I'm Brenda Keller from the Office of Fire Programs, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Frontline. And I'd like to say hi to all you firefighters out in the field.
Hello, and good to have you back on Frontline with us again this month. Got a lot of things going on this month on the program. We got RB's piece, Have You Ever Wondered? We're going on location with Hazmat City out to the city of Franklin, and we're going to be looking at some tank cars and some loading and offloading of chlorine. We're also going to be featuring All Hands again this month. They had a 2-alarm fire back in the month of May over at Wexford Place in Hunter's Mill, and we're going to have Chief Matthias on the set with us. So we'll be covering a little bit of that. And we got a couple of more spots for you, the trivia, fire department trivia, and of course the bulletin board. Let's go ahead and get started, and we'll kick it off this month with Have You Ever Wondered with R.B. Alley.
Did you ever wonder what it'd be like to be on the technical rescue team? I've often wondered that myself. I'm over here at Company 10 today, home of a new technical rescue team with Battalion Chief Chase Sargent, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the team, a little history behind it, and tell us some of the equipment, show us some of the equipment he has on the unit. Chief Sargent, how did this technical rescue team come about?
Well, originally the team came about based on a training program that was set up by the Department of Fire Programs, and that was sort of the grandfather of the whole thing. Subsequently, the city of Virginia Beach, in conjunction with the rest of the region, decided there was a need for this type of technical rescue operations. And what you see behind you is the fruit of that 3 to 4 year labor that's been sponsored by the Thames Council as well as the jurisdictions that are participating in it.
That's good. You got a lot of equipment here. How about your truck and apparatus? How did you obtain the truck and the trailer and things?
Well, a lot of the items that you see, especially the truck and the trailer, the truck was donated by C&P Telephone Company. The trailer was donated by 5 of the utility contractors, and then it was set up by the team members. A lot of the equipment that you see, almost 95% of it has been donated through donations to the Thames Council from the contractors and building construction companies and utilities and everything else. Some of it's been purchased by the cities. City of Virginia Beach has helped out a tremendous amount with the insurance and the liability on the vehicles and painting them and items like that.
That's excellent, Chief. Got a lot of equipment to choose from here, a lot of resources that I'm sure a lot of our guys don't know about, and we'll tell them about each thing so they'll know what we have to offer here. As far as the department's concerned, the Virginia Beach Fire Department, how's our role changed? How's it changed our role and responsibility on first responders to these types of calls?
Well, originally, and it still is, we're part of a regional concept, the Tidewater Regional Trench and Collapse Rescue Team. I think Virginia Beach Fire Department has taken a cutting-edge approach to that with the support of administration. They've brought as many personnel as they can with the training online at Company 10 so that they are here not only to perform traditional roles of fire suppression, but are here as a technical response unit if something occurs in the Virginia Beach or in the region, and that allows us a rapid response with trained personnel, much the same as we've done with the hazardous materials concept over at Company 7, and it seems to work real well having that traditional function and then drawing your expertise into the technical fields as well. And that's basically where we are right now.
That's excellent. Can we get Captain Mike Brown to come in and show us around, show us some of the equipment you have here, and tell us a little bit about how it's used and what resources he has here on this truck?
Sure. We'll let Captain Brown walk you through the equipment by mission and let you see what's available to anybody that needs it, and he can give you an overview of what's available.
Okay, thanks.
As Chief Sargent mentioned to you a little bit earlier, this is a technical rescue unit that has quite a bit of specialized equipment on it. we really found about 5 or 10 years ago that there was so much new equipment coming out and so many more techniques and so many more areas that we could get our firefighters into, and we found out they were being pretty much unprepared. So we tried real hard for 8 years now to obtain specialized equipment, training, and research so that we could provide a better service and increase the survival profile for our firefighters and suppressional personnel. And hopefully we've been able to do that with this regional concept, which of course includes firefighters from and paramedics from Norfolk and Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Virginia Beach, Little Creek, and some of the other military bases around. So all of those people have the ability to use this equipment at any time, any of those people that are on the unit, and all those jurisdictions have the ability to call it special requests for the manpower and the equipment that we have available to us. Now I'd like to just go over some of the equipment and show you the capabilities that we have and we're prepared to handle just by you giving us a call. Okay, first I'm going to start out just talking about our truck or our tractor that actually pulls the trailer. We received this as a donation from C&P, and then the city picked up insurance, and City Garage did quite a bit of work on it to get it refurbished, cleaned up, painted, a lot of the front end work rebuilt on it so it was a little more able to carry the heavy load we have. They took the small cherry picker, a bucket, off of it and added a light bar, so we have a capability of a 360-degree light bar with 3,000 watt quartz light capability total on top. So it really gives us some good overhead work and the ability to see around a scene, providing we can get the truck that close. The truck is equipped with so that we can release the trailer and just take the truck itself, which has all our extrication equipment on it. So it gives us ability to go and be a little bit more mobile if we get called in that capacity. Okay, the purpose really of this whole little video segment is to let everybody in the field know some of the capabilities we have. You're looking at one section. We are getting into extrication devices and extrication equipment. This particular unit was donated by the Department of Defense. The Navy donated this to us to do some little more research and development on some of these pieces. This is an AMCUS hydraulic extrication tool unit. In the back you'll see the power supply and the 50-foot hoses that go to it. We have a complete complement of rams from 60-inch ram complete to 72-inch with extension. The 32-inch ram and the 24-inch rams, all those are capable of extensions if we need them with the base supports. In the middle we have the O-cutters for snipping off sedan bars on cars or any other the heavy metal components we can pop off. And then we have two sets of spreaders. Both of these are aluminum. They're very light. They're pretty much state-of-the-art. They're extremely strong. They're almost twice as strong as the Hurst tools. We feel like we have excellent capability to non-spark cut into almost any type of steel structure, providing the heavy gauge of steel is not too heavy for us to get into. But it's a new tool. We practice and train with it, and should the need arise, we do have complete auto extrication capabilities. You're looking at the inner pack. It's a large porta-power system that we carry on Wagon 10 now if we have the need to do some fairly moderate intermediate extrication. Inner pack's rated at 12 tons and allow us 24,000 pound tip strength on the spreaders, which is really really good for what we're using, O-cutters set up and so forth. So we do carry that on Wagon 10, and generally either wagon or engine 10 is going to be responding with the unit. So we do have that capability should we need it. Let's move on over and look at some of our lifting capabilities and end with some of our other tool, sheet metal tool opening equipment. Okay, this is another extrication device that we carry on Wagon 10 as well. It's a Paratech 40. It's a air hammer, and it allows us the capability to do like a very large air chisel. We can even break up some cement concrete chunks with it. It runs off a standard air bottle, and it does a tremendous amount of sheet metal work, opening up compartments very fast. Has a capability of a number of different bits that can be applied to it for different applications, and really increases our ability to open up sheet metal and light concrete structures. We also have the capability of doing some lifting all the way from about 3.5 tons to 44 tons. We do have some more bags coming that'll run us to about 75 tons in lifting. We have capability with low pressure bags and high pressure bags to lift just about any object, at least a couple of feet that we need to lift with. We also carry a full complement of cribbing to go along with that and back that up. We have one set of lamp lifter bags and one set of vetter bags complete with the controls, and they run right off of the air bottles that everybody carries on the fire apparatus. We're continuously searching for new sources of equipment and new highly technical equipment to help make our job a little bit easier. This is one of those pieces of equipment. It's a Hilti hammer drill. Allows us to drill into solid concrete or rock and set anchors for rope rescue or anchors to help hold trench panels back and so forth. It operates just as a standard drill and will allow us to drill and bore holes in wood up to 10 inches deep, and among other capabilities. It's rechargeable, and we are able to take it out into the field and use that. That was donated to us by Hilti, and we're doing some research and development on that piece itself. We also have a number of other pieces that we've managed to acquire in one fashion or the other. We have a cable winch that can be anchored to a good firm anchor, and then we can haul along with that. That keeps us from getting our ropes dirty in real muddy environments and allows us to pull heavy loads in some real bad locations, and it's a very versatile tool there. We're actually doing research and development on that, where we write up our comments and send them back to the manufacturers. We, of course, have the little steel circular saw and the steel chainsaw, and we carry a Craftsman 8-inch circular saw in there for cutting up wood chunks out in the field. We do have a generator capability on the unit so that any of our electrical equipment we need to power will be able to do that. We do have a complete BLS Life Pack Thomas pack on here, which has airways and all the equipment, has an oxygen bottle and a full set of BLS equipment for us in the field. We are working on constantly upgrading our technical rope equipment. We have a number of different ropes that we can use, anywhere from 1,000-foot long solid sections, 600, 450, 300-foot sections, a 1/2-inch and 5/8 rope. Most of us also carry our own personal equipment bags with us, and we generally have them capable for us to throw on the truck if we do get a rope rescue call. We have a number of the Type 2 harnesses, a number of Type 3 harnesses with full body support. We do carry a full complement of aluminum carabiners and aluminum pulleys and gear for confined space incidences where there may be a flammable environment. We do have a full complement of steel carabiners and rigging devices for being able to come up with any configuration or rope system we need to access and remove victims. Down in this lower corner, you'll see we have a couple of what are called infrared thermal imaging devices. These devices were donated to us by the Defense Department to do some research on. The one on the left is rated at 98 degrees Fahrenheit, and basically it'll set off an audible tone when you approach something that's 98 degrees, like a victim or a body. Not necessarily very valuable in a fire situation, but in a cooler structure, in a shipboard or in some of your collapsed structures, we're going to be doing some research on that, see if we can locate bodies with that. We also have one that's rated at 200 degrees, and we're still finding different locations. It helps us find hot spots and things like that, so we're really experimenting with those. We carry along a full complement of incident command signs. We have a board, chalkboards, ways that our operational commanders on technical rescue scenes can kind of help keep us coordinated and keep all their thoughts together. One of the things we've been working hard on for the last 4 or 5 years is advances in structural collapse and different building collapse areas. One of the prime tools you need for structural collapses is ways to cut through heavy structural components. We do have a number of different burning capabilities that can be used really on shipboard or structural collapse, or anytime you need to burn any heavy metal. This is an oxyacetylene cutting torch that we're all trained to use, and we practice with cutting with it. This is a small backpack unit, and hopefully any of the small cutting jobs we may need, that'll hold us until we can get some of the larger units there, and a lot of the on-site units have their own units there. We also have a fairly new device that's on the cutting market called a dissect tool. With the dissect tool, it's made by DuPont, and it's shaped a little bit like a sword, and it pushes pressurized oxygen down this tube, and the tube actually burns at tremendous temperature, so it's exothermic. And with this tool, it's got an automatic striking rod at the tip of it which lights it, and then you can burn through just about any thickness of steel in just a matter of seconds. The rods go fairly quickly, so we do carry a full supply of spare rods with us. And as long as you've got a little oxygen in the spare rods, you can make a tremendous cut in just about any size steel or structural components or cables or whatever you need to cut through. It's real good for rebar and busting through rebar real quick instead of having to cut it with a torch. We also have a unit that's fairly new on the market called a carry cable. Carry cable is also an exothermic device, generally burns in the neighborhood of 4,000 degrees centigrade. It is oxygen driven and it burns a stainless steel anti-rotating cable. It forces oxygen down the center of the cable, and by just thrusting the cable into the steel, the tremendous temperatures it generates causes the steel to melt very quickly and separate. So we do have the two real good cutting capabilities with those tools, and once again we're doing research and development feedback for the companies on those. We have a dozen of these little Maxon bone phones that work off of audible ear transmissions, and we use those for real close sight communications. They work fairly well for us. We're still kind of playing with them. They're kind of feeble, but they've worked real good on some of our rope situations. We do have a number of different atmospheric monitors that stay on charge in the trailer all the time while it's parked at Company 10. Here's a couple of the units we use for atmospheric monitoring, confined space, and some of the places. Behind that, Perry's showing what we have is called a sound-powered phone, and it's explosion-proof and intrinsically safe, which what it allows us to do is to talk. It's cable driven, and the sound actually powers it, so it doesn't have any ability to generate a spark. It's kind of like the can with the string between it, the way it operates, but it works real effectively. It does work with a helmet on, and we've been using it in confined space training and plan to use on confined space incidents for communication. As you know, most of the portable radios we have are not explosion proof, and in some flammable environments a regular portable radio could be a problem. In the back we do carry a complement of lockout tags and entry permits and so forth for confined space entry. These are things that you should see on any confined space entry scene where there are people inside, and if they're not, then we have the capability of making sure that they're up to snuff when we get there. Just like what the truck company carries, we have a number of different SABAs. We have the capability of having 3 pairs of SABAs. That's 6 individual units. We have the large bottles to supply them with, and all these SA supplied air breathing apparatus pairs, just like what's on the truck company. We also have some explosion-proof lighting and some electrical equipment that's specially made for flammable environments in confined spaces. On the trailer, we also carry a portable generator to give us a little portable field power. We also have 2 different types of trash pumps or mud hogs. We carry the draft hoses with them and the discharge hoses with them. The large one is a 3-inch and the smaller one is a 2-inch model. Allows us to do dewatering in open trenches and confined spaces and manholes, and it allows us to suck up any type of trash and stuff without damaging a normal centrifugal pump. We starting to get into some of the trench equipment. We do carry what's called air shores. This is different size air shores from the smallest up to the largest. We can go up to 12 feet with the long one on the right. It's 144 inches, and we can go on down in size. With these units, they're made primarily for shoring trench walls up, but they also are excellent for use in shoring structural collapses or building collapses, or if you have a large structural damage from a fire, we can jack up and shore up some of the lintels in your building, and if you just need to give us a call, we can come out and shore up the building and stabilize it a little bit before you go in and do your mop up, so keep that in mind also. These are air powered, so you just shoot them with a little bit of air. Behind Perry you'll see a couple of the portable air units we've put together. Those work on the airbags or the SABAs, or to shoot the air jacks, so we can roll those carts with us out into a field. We can shoot the air jacks by air, and then you stick the safety pins in them to keep them expanded and tight. It gives us real good capability for shoring and structurally stabilizing buildings that are not structurally stable. We also carry a miller board for confined space. That's 18 inches across, so any of your portals that are 18 inches or bigger, we can get C-spine mobilization using that. We also carry a sked stretcher, which is a flexible portable stretcher which has real good confined space applications. And we also carry an LSP half board, which is probably the best cervical immobilization device for confined space and vertical extrication that's on the market today. You're looking at one of the shore form panels. We have 12 of these on the trench unit. We use them for trenching the side of trenches. You can also use them for, in some places, to help stabilize structures. These panels run about $300 a piece, and they're made in Sweden. So when we got those in, imported all, set them up, and got them set up to our specifications. They're ultra strong, and we, as you can look into the back of the trailer here, you can see a little bit how we store those. Like I say, we carry 12 of these. The guys on the team worked real hard to build these racks in the back of the trailer to hold those forms so that we can pop them out real easy and pop them back in. They're really quite heavy. Also, you can see there's a couple extra shores there we're working with. Those are some of the intermediate sizes in the air shores. Up on the top, you can see some of our strong backs and ground pads are there on the right. We do carry plenty of 4x4s for doing custom fit shoring. And along the left, you'll see where we store our long air shores. We do carry 9 of each size of those air shores, rated about 36,000 pounds apiece. They're all stored in this unit so that we have the ability to be symmetrical in building our structural supports and in our trench supports. A couple of the other lifting devices we do carry on the trailer, right at the left is the manhole cover. We're able to put that over top of a manhole and get some lifting capability. It's excellent for training and so forth, and for response and a real simple lift capability, it helps us out a lot. We also carry a tripod that will extend to 10 feet, and any type of subterranean rescue you have to do, you need an elevated point that you can attach your haul systems to, and a tripod helps us with that. We also were donated a mannequin that they say weighs 55 pounds. It feels a little heavier than that. Looks a little bit like Perry to me. He's sitting in a Class 3 harness right there, which is what we would use when we had the time permitting to pull a victim out of a manhole. Just taking a look inside the trailer, since we have most of the gear out right now, the trailer looks a little bit empty, but this is just some of the extra equipment, most of it just redundant air bottles and things like this. We have the air bottles, and we carry several extra oxygen bottles as well. We do have a full complement of cribbing here, and the truck also has a complement of cribbing similar to that. We do have a small workbench here. We've been working on it and usually carry some equipment. And up top we have a shelf there. Vanna Rotroff is showing us how the shelf lowers down. We have charging apparatus there for the portable monitors and portable radios and the different battery-powered equipment we have. All right, these are some of the racks that the trench team guys put together. The racks are set up with the donated Marvin-made containers. They have different pieces of equipment in them, shovels and smaller pieces of scabbing and stuff we use on trench scenes, tapes and different pieces of utility rope and webbing and so forth in those racks. And towards the left there, you can see how we store our 9 of each size of the air shores. It's stored in upright positions, and it allows us to keep all of them in there together by size. This is looking back from the front part of the trench trailer, looking towards the back. We do have SCBA bottles on it and the SABA carts for carrying SABA to the scene or entry point for confined space. This is another scene of the 4x4s for custom fitting trenches and stabilizing trench panels. Standard coolers, exhaust fans, ventilation equipment of all sorts and sizes, buckets and nails, ropes, lots of ancillary equipment that really helps a rescue scene to go a little bit smoother for us. You're looking at the back of the Tidewater Regional Trench and Collapse Rescue Team. We have expanded into more of a Tidewater Regional Technical Rescue Team, which kind of encompasses all of the areas that we cover. This is just to keep people in the Tidewater area available and understanding that this is a regional concept and that people are provided by, of course, Chesapeake Fire, Norfolk PRS, Portsmouth Fire, Virginia Beach Fire, Virginia Beach EMS, and Little Creek Fire Department. This unit opens very easily. Capability, one man can open it and set it down gently. It opens down so that we can have access, have a nice little ramp so you don't have to step up and down, and you can walk those heavy trench panels off and other heavy equipment off without causing too much strain to your back.
The technical rescue team can be accessed through the City of Virginia Beach Emergency Communications Center in Virginia Beach. First two units may request it for any technical rescue they feel necessary, dealing with trench and collapse excavation, collapse, building collapse, confined space entry, high-angle rescue, rope rescue. In the Tidewater areas, it may be accessed simply by calling a local communications center and requesting it through Virginia Beach EOC. If you're interested in setting up a drill at your battalion or at your company with the rest of this equipment to learn a little bit more about it, please do that by contacting the company captains at Station 10 and setting it up to where it's convenient for their schedule and yours as well. Technical rescue team is here to serve you and the Tidewater area.
I would like to take this opportunity to thank Battalion Chief Sergeant and Captain Mike Brown and the technical rescue crew of Company 10C. They say they're the home of the heat. They work where the devils dance. Reporting to you from Frontline, on the tripod, in the harness, I'm Captain R.B. Alley.
Chief March, and the Chief's going to be handling the fire questions, so if you go ahead and get those out, we'll get started. But I think before we get started, Chief, what's the response so far on the fire questions?
Well, so far it's been pretty good. I've got several calls from people out in the field, and they say they're using the questions and getting something out of it. So at this point, I think we're doing a good job with it.
So a lot of positive comments and remarks so far.
Yeah, that's what I've heard so far.
Good deal. Okay, why don't we get rolling then?
Okay, Joe, thank you.
All right.
This month's questions on Frontline deal with ventilation and forcible entry. So if you get the worksheets out, we'll get started. Okay, question number 1. A dull orange glow with no visible fire and hot, unbroken window glass may be indicators of which of the following? The correct answer is B, a backdraft potential. Some of the other indicators are puffing smoke from under the eaves and darkened or blackened window panes. Question number 2. How do you usually force double swinging doors? The correct answer is B, by prying them apart until the bolt is free of the keeper. Also, if the door is secured by a bar, it may be necessary to cut a hole in the panel or break a glass to remove the bar. Question number 3. What is mushrooming? The correct answer is B, the collection and spreading out of smoke and hot gases at the highest points of a structure. Question number 4. Generally speaking, which of the following do not provide an adequate opening for ventilating a roof? The right answer is C, scuttle hatches. Question 5. Where should a firefighter stand when he is making a roof opening for ventilation? The correct answer is B, to the windward side of an opening, and remember to always wear protective clothing. Question 6. Other than for rescue, a building should not be horizontally vented until which of the following has occurred? The answer is B. Charged hose lines are in place at the windward entry point. Okay, now let's turn to page 2. Question 7. Tempered plate glass is about how many times stronger than normal glass? The answer is C, 4 times stronger. Additionally, tempered plate glass is several times more resistant to impact, and when broken, the sheets of glass suddenly disintegrate into relatively small pieces. Question 8. For what is the key tool used? The correct answer is C, to move the bolt or plunger to the open position. Question 9. Which of the following tools would be the best choice for breaking tempered glass? Correct answer is C, pickhead axe. And remember to always use eye protection when breaking tempered glass. Question 10. What sort of blade would be required for a power saw to cut through metal or concrete? The right answer is A, a carbide tip blade. Question 11. What are 3 general groups of forcible entry tools? Correct answer is C, cutting tools, pushing and pulling tools, and striking tools. Question 12. What situation exists if a sliding patio door is barred or blocked with a metal rod? Correct answer is C. Forcing the door is almost impossible. Okay, now let's go to page 3. Question 13. What is a rapid entry key box system? The correct answer is C, a box mounted on the building exterior with all the necessary keys. These particular key box systems are very rare in the city of Virginia Beach. Question 14. Fire streams projected downward through ventilation openings will tend to do which of the following? The answer is B, hinder the ventilation process, and it also pushes the heated gases back down towards the crews that are working inside the structure. Question 15. What are pike poles primarily used for? The correct answer is C. They're used for opening windows, ceilings, and partitions. Question number 16. Which of the following is one way in which ventilation aids rescue operations? Correct answer is A. It removes smoke and hot gases which can endanger occupants and firefighters. Question 17. At what point can you tell that a K-tool is properly positioned? The right answer is C. When the blades are engaged into the cylinder body. This also eliminates the likelihood of the ring and the face breaking off of the cylinder. Question 18. Which of the following is about the only rule of thumb which exists for choosing where to ventilate? The correct answer is B. Ventilate as directly over the fire as possible. Okay, now let's turn to page 4. Question 19. When you horizontally ventilate a room, how do you open the windows on the windward side? The correct answer is A, from the bottom up. And from the leeward side, you would open the windows from the top down. Question 20. What is the first step in forcing a door that opens away from you? You actually insert the blade between the door and the jamb. Question 21. When you're opening a roof, you should follow which safety precaution listed below? The correct answer is C. Provide a secondary means of escape. Okay, what I have here is your basic K-tool. And what I'd like to do is basically review the functions and the uses of the key tools. Okay, this tool here is used for the rim locks, and this tool is used for a fox lock, which is very rare for this area. Okay, this particular device has two ends to it. One is a flat end, and the other is called the cam end. The cam end is used for the mortise locks. In a mortise lock that opens on the right-hand side, you would insert the cam end at about 5 o'clock and turn it to the 7 o'clock position, and that should open the door. And it would be vice versa if the door opened on the left-hand side. If it opened on the left, you would insert it about 7 o'clock and turn it to 5 o'clock, and your door should open. Now, the flat end is used for the bolt locks or cylinder locks. What you do is insert it straight in and just turn the bolt. Okay, this concludes the fire worksheet portion of Frontline, and now I'd like to kick it back to Joe.
Okay, Chief, thanks a lot. We're going to go next to a new series that we're starting on Frontline, and it's called Taking It to the Streets. What we're going to be doing with this part of the program is several of you out there have already had a lot of input into Frontline and several suggestions on some spots you'd like to see covered. This month we're going to go to a ventilation practical with Danny Lindsay from Company 11C Shift, and Danny's assigned to the ladder down there, and I think he's got some pretty good information for us.
Welcome to this portion of Frontline, Taking It to the Streets. I'm Danny Lindsay from Company 11. Today I want to talk about ventilation, rooftop in particular. We're working a little bit too hard nowadays. We have a good saw on the trucks, we need to use them more than our axe and manpower. What I want to do today is talk about how to select where to cut and how to make the cuts by using the saw and not by using the axe when it comes to chopping it out. First thing you want to do when you get on the roof is locate the rafters. When you do that, you can do it by sounding. If you got a good ear, you can hear above all the engine noise. Or you can do it by ripping off the shingles if you got the time and manpower. What we normally do is locate them by locating the ridge vent or the regular roof vent, which is nailed right between the rafters. So if you can find them, you can find the rafters real easily. Or you can do a priority cut, which is just a quick triangle cutting the roof to give you room to fill with the axe to find the rafters if you're not ready over top one. Plus, you can find out what type of material you're cutting, and you also find out if there's fire underneath you immediately. After doing this, we go to the peak and try to get directly over the fire if possible. Working with your roof ladder, you want to start on the right-hand side if you're right-handed. This allows you to move the roof ladder to the left away from the cut so you're not working over top your cut with the smoke coming right up in your face. You make 2 cuts. If you're using plywood, you make 2 cuts about 4 feet down. If you're on 1x6 roofing, it makes no difference where you end your cut at, because every 6 inches you have a board that you can break into. You got your seam right there, whereas plywood is every 4 feet. You start off with 2 4-foot cuts down from the peak. You have your second man knock out the hole. It could be an 18-inch piece, it could be a 24-inch piece, or it could even be a full sheet. If it's not a full sheet, continue your second cut down until you've gone down through your first full sheet of the plywood. Then you move your roof ladder over to your left. You make the next cut the same length as you made your second cut. Then your roof man can go ahead, your second man can go ahead and knock that out with your pike pole. By doing this, all you have to do is knock down on one end where you've just made your cut. That normally folds the plywood over on its side like this, and then you can just hit it and it'll knock it off. You start cleaning out the hole immediately while you're still cutting. You want to make sure that if it is fire below you, that you are on the upwind side.
All right, again, this is what I call a priority cut. It's just a quick triangular cut so we can locate rafters, type of material being used, and whether or not there's fire directly underneath of us at this time. And once this hole's cut, you can use a pike pole or axe to feel through to find the rafters if you did not cut over top of one while you're doing this. at which time you can locate the rafters as being 24 or 16-inch on centers. You will start making your cut in the middle or just off center of the rafter span. After making 2 cuts about 4 feet long, you would then stop the saw and clean out the hole. Again, this is only needed to be done when it's plywood. At any time with 1x6, you feel like you need to stop and clean it out, you can. After cleaning out the first hole, if you did not make a full 4-foot section, I would continue the second cut down until I was through a full 4-foot section, and then I would move my ladder over and make the rest of my cuts the same length as the second cut that I made. All right, a few general safety tips. One would be to be sure the roof structure is sound. So if you're working off of it, you don't want to fall through completely or become trapped in the roof itself and be exposed to flames. Provide a secondary means of egress in case of structural collapse, whereas you have to go to a different portion of the roof that you entered from. Avoid working around the hole once the work is complete. In case any of the structural members were cut during the ventilation operation, you do not want to risk falling through. If possible, try to have a charged hose line in place. This is very demanding on the workforce because we have so few people on the scene, but it's a safety factor that we need to abide by.
Working on a small cut-up roof like this is real hard. You got a good roof with a lot of room to work. If I could cut a hole this fast by myself and clean it out, just think how fast it would go with 2 people. That's this addition of taking it to the street.
I got a little message for Captain Brown. Mike, Tennessee used to be the heat. Truck 11's got the heat on the beach beat. Let's go, boys.
That's what I'm talking about. Told it over.
Next on Frontline is part 2 of Live at 5, TRFA 36, On the Line.
There is no let-up during the final week of training, and Class 36 knows it will get no break, no easy assignment. In responding to a fire call, the order changes quickly. Victim trapped in an underground pipe. Team leaders take control. The site is surveyed. Proper equipment and rescue gear brought in. Instructors follow and grade every step of the way.
After they get that victim free and they can do a primary assessment on him, let me know what you have. And let's get them out of the hole and send in a TAC 2 to remove the victim.
Life-saving is the first responsibility in any scenario. That is what they train for. Virginia Beach has come up with a few rescue techniques of its own, and the federal government is looking at this school for possible training of a national international response team for such disasters as earthquakes and cave-ins, people trapped in confined spaces.
All fire departments and eventually all the taxpayers, because there's a commonality in what we do. And by combining these particular resources here, ultimately what we'll be doing is saving a lot of property and a lot of time, a lot of personal injuries.
Quick and careful response is paramount to saving a life. Organization and teamwork is the time clock. Seconds saved, not wasted.
The victim has been extricated from the hole and is being transferred to rescue.
Class 36 performed well. The rescue and transfer went smoothly.
Got anything yet? Continue CPR.
The final week of training, just as tough as the first. It is here they learn or burn, both day and night. Class 36 finds itself always on the line.
Okay, it's that time of the program where we're going to be doing the EMT worksheets, so if you go ahead and get them out, we'll cover those. We're going to be covering the May 1990 worksheets, and that's going to be injuries to the head, neck, face, and eyes. And we'll start with question 1. And here we want to list 3 important principles for the treatment of head injuries. First principle is to maintain an adequate airway, adequate ventilations, and give supplemental O2 if necessary. 2, you want to protect the cervical spine from any injury. And 3, you want to assess level of consciousness and continue to monitor. Question 2, list 3 signs that may indicate that spinal cord injury exists. A, inadequate movement of chest muscles, which will cause a decreasing ventilatory effect. B, hypotension due to neurogenic shock. And C, loss of sensation. Question 3. Here we want to fill in the proper term for each letter in the AVPU scale. A is for alert. V, does the patient respond to verbal stimulus? P, is the patient responsive to pain? Or U, is the patient just simply unresponsive? Question 4. We want to list 3 signs which may indicate a skull fracture. A, any scalp deformity may indicate some type of skull fracture. B, ecchymosis under the eyes or raccoon eyes. And C, ecchymosis behind the ears or battle signs. Okay, let's go over to page 2 and we'll pick up with question number 5. Why is the brain contusion more serious than a brain concussion? Pretty simply here, a brain contusion causes actual physical injury to the brain tissue. Question 6. List 5 signs of a spinal cord injury. A, deformity, which is seen basically in your severe injuries to the spinal cord. B, tenderness. C, lacerations. D, contusions. And E, paralysis or anesthesia. Question 7. We want to list 2 indications for helmet removal. The first indication, or A, is when the face mask, if it's a football helmet, or the visor, if it's a motorcycle helmet, interferes with adequate ventilation or the firefighter's ability to restore an airway. Second indication, or B, would be when the helmet is so loose that when you go to secure the helmet to a spinal immobilization device, such as the CID, or you're just trying to get the patient onto a longboard to immobilize the spine, it won't provide an adequate immobilization. Okay, question number 8, and here we want to define neurogenic shock. Neurogenic shock is a failure of the circulatory system caused by paralysis of the nerves which control the size of blood vessels. And you see this a lot in spinal cord injuries, specifically injuries to the high thoracic region. Okay, for question number 9, we're not going to be using the diagram that's listed on your EMT worksheet. It was just kind of hard to get that thing lined up. Okay, we'll start all the way over on the far left with the optic nerve. And the optic nerve is this area in here of the eye. We'll move now going down in a counterclockwise motion to the vitreous humor or the vitreous body. And that's the area in here. Next is the retina, and the retina is this layer of the eye right here. The sclera, or the white portion of the eye, right here. Okay, next, continuing in the counterclockwise, is the conjunctiva. And on this chart, it's listing the conjunctiva in this area up here. It's called the conjunctiva bulbar up here, right in this area. The cornea, and the cornea is this area in here, or this layer of the eye right here. number 12. The pupil, and the pupil is this region right here, number 23. The iris, and the iris is in this region right here. Okay, let's move now to the eyelid, and the eyelid is this area right in here. Okay, and to wrap this diagram of the eye up, we'll go to the lens, and the lens is this part of the eye right here. Okay, let's keep this thing rolling. Let's go to the last page, and we'll go to question number 10. And in question number 10, we want to list 5 physical changes that can occur with an eye injury. And these are specific physical changes and physical findings that you'll see when you're treating a patient when they have an eye injury or an injury to parts of the eye. A is swollen or lacerated eyelids. B, they'll have bright red conjunctiva. C, dry or dull appearance of the cornea itself. D, entire circle of the iris may not be visible. And E, a slow reaction of the pupil. Okay, question number 11. And in question number 11, we want to list 5 common eye signs following a head injury. A, well, the first one is going to be unequal pupils. B, the patient may display eyes pointing in different directions. C, failure of the eyes to follow examiner's finger on command. D, bleeding into the sclera or the white portion of the eye. And E, protrusion or bulging of one eye. Question 12. Why should the eyes of a conscious person be kept closed? And on your sheet, it's got why should the eyes of an unconscious person, and that's a typo. Should read why should the eyes of a conscious person be kept closed? And the answer is basically to minimize motion. Number 13. What is the emergency treatment for chemical burns to the eye? The basic emergency treatment for chemical burns to the eye is to flush with copious amounts of water for at least 5 minutes. Now, if you have an alkaline that's gotten into the eyes, then you want to flush for at least 20 minutes. And number 14, what is the emergency treatment for thermal burns to the eye? An emergency treatment for thermal burns to the eye is to cover both eyes with a sterile dressing and moisten it with sterile saline. Welcome back to the show. It's time for all hands, and with me this month is A Shift Commander Chief Melvin Mathias. Chief, you had command of a second alarm fire at 321 Wexford Drive on the 11th of May. Can you give us a little lead-in on the events that took place that morning?
Yes, sir, Joe. I believe the call came in at 02:45 in the morning. The call came in as a living room fire. As they were responding to the incident, the dispatcher told them that this living room was possibly fully involved. Mm-hmm. When they arrived on the scene, Captain Sook saw what he had. He had more than just a living room fire. He had at least 2 or 3 units that were involved, and he immediately called for a second alarm. They placed their ladder probably in the most advantageous place where they could cover both the primary and the exposure of this incident, which played an instrumental part in the extinguishment of the fire and the protection of the exposure. The incident, the fire of this particular case was actually under control probably within 35 minutes of the time that the alarm was dispatched. And I would say that the placement of the ladder and the strategy and tactics of the first arriving units were probably instrumental in affording us this really quick control time.
You said that that the fire was, I guess, pretty well going when Wagon 9 got there. Had it already gotten into the overhead, and was it already extending, I guess, through the attic areas?
Yes, Joe. It had communicated up out of the primary apartment and had extended into the third floor and had worked its way into the attic. Also, due to the extent of the fire and the location of the exposure, the ladder positioned itself in between where the primary fire was and where the exposure was, which was, I would estimate, less than 25 feet away. The ladder was able to apply water right down to the throat of this, which it was in between the exposure and the primary fire unit.
Okay, now that we got this worksheet up, Chief, let's take a look at it just a little bit closer. I see where we got ladder 9 and what you're talking about, the throat in between building 317 and building 321. So 321 was the actual fire building, correct?
That's correct, Joe.
Okay. Now the exposure 4, I see, I saw some blocks, and I guess just in our conversation here while we were putting the sheet up, those are cars. Was there any extension over there to those cars?
Yes, there was, Joe. They, when they arrived on the scene, they had to move those cars, and a few of those cars were actually burning.
So they pretty much had their hands full, I guess, when they got there. Not only did they have a building going pretty good, but they had some exposure problems as well.
Yeah, they had an extreme exposure problem on 317, which was actually burning.
So there was some extension into there.
Yeah, there was extension into there.
Okay.
They also had reports that there had been occupants that had jumped out of the third floor. Although when they arrived, they knew of an injury, but they actually didn't witness anybody jumping.
Okay, Chief, you had a lot of families displaced on this incident, obviously because of the time of day. How responsive were your outside resources?
Well, we called in the Red Cross, and they were on the scene within, I would say, within an hour after we had asked for them to respond. They responded with food, coffee. They were helping the occupants. We also had a tremendous help from the owner, who was real responsive to our needs, who had arranged for a location where all the occupants could gather so that we could account for who was in that building. And I would say within an hour after the alarm had been called in, we knew where almost all the occupants were and could locate them. Some of the lessons that we learned were, number one is we were able to profit from an earlier fire that was there. The crew knew that they were going to have to go to the boulevard for their next water source. So that was one thing. Another thing is they also knew that it was one way in, and there was probably no other way around to the back of this incident.
Good. Well, we appreciate having you here with us on All Hands, and I'm sure we'll see you again in the future.
Hello and welcome once again to the hazardous materials section of Frontline. It was our intention this month to go to the city of Franklin and shoot some footage of their training facility out there, including a rail tank car that was recently donated to them. However, due to time constraints, we're not going to be able to fit it into this month's program, so we'll show it to you next month. And this month we're going over to look at the new hazardous materials vehicle that was recently delivered to Company 7.
Well, good morning. My name is Bob Reese. I'm with the Product Engineering Development part of Hackney & Sons in Washington, North Carolina. I'm here this afternoon or the morning to explain the operation and maintenance of the new hazmat truck that the City of Virginia Beach has just taken possession of. I guess the most unique concept with this truck is that it has an onboard generator capable of producing three-phase electrical energy that we are using to run a 15 horsepower motor to run a 18 CFM air compressor, where we're able to use that to fill up Cascade bottles on this truck, or Cascade bottles on another department's truck, or a remote staging area inside of a building on a multi-floor structure. This also has a command center in it with a cellular telephone for communication of information before a team has to enter into to a situation on an emergency basis. Hackney has been in business for approximately 40 years. This is a new concept for them with the roll-up bay doors. We're putting slide-out trays, telescoping lights. It is just a kind of a new wave of the environment that we're living in and how we handle the emergencies that come up. I think this particular type truck that they've accepted will be used many more times in the future, and I think it will be a very desirable piece of equipment. Solve a lot of problems.
Cam Harmon.